Welcome everybody to the Salt Lake City Swarm franchise. We are 2-7 through the first 9 games of the season, and last episode we did get a glimpse of the future a little bit in the opening season episode for season 3. We saw some young players like Esteban Calzado. Now Calzado, if you're new to the series, was our first draft pick of the series in the first year MLB player draft. He looks really good after a year of playing at the AA level. He looks really, really good, MLB ready, and I think that he's going to have a bright future. Last season, we traded for a relief pitcher as we traded Chris Taylor away, and we got a nice young player in Mariano Casto. He's going to be pretty good. Then there's Johnnie Hood, who came into this series as our top prospect. Obviously, he's been passed up since then, but after one start, he looks pretty good. And then there's our second round draft pick from a season ago, Terrence Madlock, who I really, really had high expectations for coming into this year. And we'll see what he ends up doing here in his rookie season. He was very, very polished as a college hitter. And I decided to make a slight change with him, kind of making his batting stance more upright, having less waggle on his bat, and then having him get some momentum with his swing, because I feel like he was kind of off balance with a lot of his swings. So I want to make sure that we tighten those mechanics up a little bit. I think it starts with his batting stance. He is a switch hitter also, so that's something to remember as well. And he will get a chance to face Justin Steele, who has been struggling in his past 2 starts. So hopefully he has a big bounce back game here after he's been starting the season pretty slowly, hitting below 200, but I don't expect that to hold up. So here in the first inning here at home here in an evening game, he hits 1-2 right field. That one will get down and will advance the runner over to third. And Madlock is 1 for 1 in this one. Now, versus left-handed pitchers, he does hit 2 in the lineup, but I moved him down in the lineup since he was struggling down to 6 versus righties, but I don't expect him to stay down too much longer. Bottom 3 now, then average up to 189 after that hit. This one's hit solidly, but it will be snared out in center field. But the good thing that I am liking with Madlock now with this new batting stance is that he is getting better timing on his swings. And I think that once he starts to square up the ball, it's definitely going to start flying. Remember, his first hit of his MLB career was a fly ball home run to right field. This time, this is tattooed, but it will just hang up in the gap. But you see the good timing on the swings. Eventually, some of those are going to fly out of the field, out of the ballpark. He is 1 for 3 in this one, now facing Tyson Miller, now hitting from the left side of the plate now. Remember, he is a switch hitter. And this will be a 3-2 pitch. Hit to the left center gap. That one does get down. And like I said, once you start to square it up, even your swing timings that are maybe late or just early or whatever the case may be, might end up being hit solidly like that one. So a 2 for 4 day for Madlock. Unfortunately, we are down 4-2 in this game. But that was an inside pitch, and he was able to get his hands through and drive that to opposite field. So that just shows what type of hitter he is. He's got a bright future. Unfortunately, we do end up losing this game as our other rookie, Johnnie Hood, does get the loss in this one. We do get 7 hits. Madlock does get 2 of those hits. So now we hop into, this series here with the Colorado Rockies. Now they are 4-10. We are 3-10. Now in year number 1, we finished last in the NL West. And then last year we finished second to last. So there is progress being made there. My goal this year is to fight for that, like I said, that third place in the division, maybe even second. Obviously the expectations aren't too high. We are still in a rebuild. But here is Ryan Hearn, who has really been on a lot of hit streaks so far in his Salt Lake City career. I think he's had 2 multi-15 game hit streaks, and I think that, he's going to be a really good player in this series. Even though he's a little older, I do see myself re-signing him to an extension because he has just been a staple in our lineup. But here facing, Jaden Hill, who started the game, now Shively, who comes out of the bullpen. We'll see if he can extend this hit streak to 16 games, as here is a low pitch in the zone. Those are really tough to judge, to be honest with you. We swing through those ones, and now 0 for 3, 4-4 game with a chance to give us the lead here with the runner on second base. This is a hanger, and he tattoos this one, but it's going to hang up in the air and stay in the yard. But he absolutely was right on target with that one. Good timing, just a little bit under it, and he misses it by literally an inch or so. We move on to the 9th inning here. Here is Alec Burleson at the plate. Ground ball to first, and we will get out of this game with a win. As Ryan Hearn does DH a lot more this year, I want to preserve him. I don't want to use his energy too much as he is an older player, and he's, like I said, an important piece in this lineup. How about Ben Rice, though? He goes 4 for 5 in this game, and literally everybody in the lineup except for Ryan Hearn gets a hit. 15 total hits, and we win 7-6 at Coors in this one. And Ryan Hearn's hit streak comes to an end, unfortunately, in a game where everybody else is hitting very, very well. So, one thing going into this season is this is the 3rd draft we will have, and we are still rebuilding. But here are what our draft picks look like. Now, I did not notice this, but we are missing our 2nd round pick because we signed Brandon Woodruff away, and we lost that compensatory pick there. We actually give that up. In this game, they kind of just take away your 2nd round pick, and that's unfortunate, but we still have 5 draft picks, and we are drafting number 5 overall. So it's going to be very, very important to nail the 1st pick, and then also use some discovery to, discover guys that will be available in our 3rd round pick. So we will look at the top 10 prospects in this draft. The number 1 rated guy MLB rank is Rich Ozuna. Very good hitter as far as contact goes and elite defensively. Now, one thing I like about him is that he is a second baseman. Our middle infield prospects that we have currently are just not very promising. Like, we have quite a few of them, but none of them are close to being ready for the show. Rich Ozuna looks like at 21 years old, he could be on the fast track. Depending on what his overall looks like, he could start at AAA and end up going up to the majors if he falls to us, but he is a number 1 player in the draft, projected to go number 1 overall. The number 2 MLB ranked prospect is Bob Engel. Engel looks kind of a lot like Ozuna, but the defense is not as good. Offensively, he looks like a great hitter, and I do like him, but I think we're going to scout him to see if he is going to be that great of a hitter. Now, I'm not sure if we want to go pitching at the top here because we do have quite a few prospects and quite a few needs as far as positional goes that I think we need to address in the draft. Sean Breeding is up here. I think he's going to be really good. I'm not sure if I'm going to draft him, though, or even scout him. I think we might do our due diligence just to see. Julian Diaz is another catcher. Now, I'm not opposed to drafting back-to-back catchers in the 1st round, but it's definitely not too appealing. It would definitely have to depend on what his secondary position would be. If he ends up being a secondary outfielder, maybe he can change to an outfielder, but we'll see. Rich Madrigal looks like a guy that's going to be really good. Guys that look like this, that have the 65 to 79 overall, 85 to 99 potential that are in college, end up usually being pretty good. Kind of like Sam Hancock is here, a 4-year senior. He looks very well-rounded as a pitcher, and he would be an awesome right-hander to have. Tommy Montoya, another starting pitcher, so you can already see, 4 of the top 7, players looks like elite college pitchers, so that's something to keep your eye on. Kevin Colsey is interesting, though. Very good contact ratings, vision, and discipline, and his fielding is really good, so we're going to scout him a little bit more, but he is falling on our draft board down to 19, which is interesting. Barack Levy, 65 to 99 potential. I do want to see if he could be generational. We will do our due diligence on him, along with Landon Wood. He has the potential to be generational too. So we're definitely going to make sure to scout these guys in the top 10, especially the ones that are 18 all the way. And then lastly, Milt Coline will also get scouted all the way to just ensure they're not generational. But starting out, we did, scout Rich Ozuna, and he looks like the number 1 prospect. If he ends up falling, that would be an awesome pick. And like I said, we're going to do some discovery, figure out who, could potentially be a generational player. And in order to discover that, you have to go 100% with these guys that are 18. But I just want to make sure to do our due diligence and, scout people fully in the first couple of weeks while still doing discovery. So we hop into a situation here, and these were the situations in last episode, I wouldn't say episode 1, but episode 1 of season 3 that we struggled in, closing out games late, these close games, and here we are on the road facing the Diamondbacks. Geraldo Perdomo with the bases loaded, bottom of the 8th inning. These are big divisional games we got to finish out. Trent Thornton does get Perdomo to swing and miss at that, Now that brings it to a 1-2 pitch here. Up in the zone. It's a swinging strike 3. And I said up in the zone. That was nowhere near the strike zone, but 98 mile an hour from Trent Thornton. Now remember, Trent Thornton was an interesting free agent pickup because his agent called our GM and said, hey, we have Trent Thornton available. Would you like to take a look at him? And he wasn't demanding too much, and he's been great. Here is Kenley Jansen now in for the save, and he will get it. And Salt Lake ends up pulling this game out 2-1. And these are the games that, like I said, I wanted to focus on a little bit coming into this episode because we had such a huge issue with closing out close games and through the first week of the season. Now, we've officially really moved the young guy, Mariano Casto, to the closing role. And I'm going to try him out in some of these scenarios, but I do want to make sure that, these divisional games are very, very important, especially seeing that coming into this series, Arizona and Colorado are really our rivals. But I think this is the year to finally jump Arizona in the NL West standings. I guess we'll have to see. Now we go into this game here. We're up 4-1. And we're going into the second half of this one. Corbin Carroll hits a double here facing Walker Buehler. We're going to go to the bullpen, bring in Ryan Yarbrough, and he quickly gets us out, man. Yarbrough has been just amazing in this series so far. And now we're on to the bottom of the ninth. We go to Mariano Casto. And Casto is 20 years old, a young player, but he's got to get used to these roles here. So now he faces Ritter. And then a solo home run by Jordan Lawler, their top prospect. They go to Moreno off the bench, and now Corbin Carroll, 3 for 4 in this one. And he does ground out, and the Swarm do pull it out. Despite Casto giving up a home run in the ninth, we end up winning this one 4-3. As Walker Buehler does end up with his first win on the season, and Terrence Madlock goes 2 for 4 and wins player of the game. So now into the middle of the month of April, we are 7-11. We ended up sweeping the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that was a very good series for us on the road at that. So now we face the New York Mets, and this time it's the top of the ninth. We are at home, and here is Casto with an opportunity to get the save in this one. A big moment for the young pitcher, facing Mark Vientos at the plate with Juan Soto at second base. Here is Casto now, 1-1 pitch, delivering ground ball down the third base line. It's fair. It will score Soto, and it's going to be a 5-5 game. And another blown save here in this early month of the season. And Vientos is on first base. And wow. I mean, I don't know what the deal with this is, but we've just had these moments quite a bit here in the first month. Rhys Hoskins up to the plate now. He hits one a mile to right field. No doubt home run. 452 to the deepest part of the ballpark right there. His second of the year. And the Mets end up taking the 7-5 lead off of the 2-run home run right there. And Hoskins just teased that one up. And the Mets take the 2-run lead here late. And Casto is just going to have to learn in these late situations how to close out these games. And I think there's just going to be growing pains, especially with this young team that we have. We have 4 rookies right now at the MLB level that are all pretty much in big roles, to be honest with you. We have Johnnie Hood. We will check him out later. Casto, and then Terrence Madlock. And then we also have, moved up and down some other rookie pitchers, which we will talk about later in this season as well. So we go through this Mets series. We end up splitting the first 2. And in this one, we do get the win, though. And it looks like Madlock goes 2 for 5. So his bat is starting to warm up. That averages up to 232. It was started down, in the 160s at the start of this episode. Amed Rosario was up over 300, which he is hitting the ball very well, boosting his trade value, but we'll see how that goes as far as, trade value for our veterans, because I still do want them to stick around. We do find out some more information from a couple of guys I found, late in the first round that are projected here. Here's Aaron Stallings. He looks decent, but his potential just isn't good enough to draft number 5. But I would say, if we maybe had him in the second round, he could be a consideration because he looks like he's going to be pretty much a high ceiling guy, much like Terrence Madlock. Bob Engel is interesting. 83 to 95 potential, 70 to 82 overall, He looks like he's going to have an elite contact bat along with good vision and discipline. The power is going to be average to above average, he projects, and his defense will be average to above average. I would say he's not as good as Ozuna as we saw earlier, but he has a very high ceiling, which I do really like. I do want to go after Eric Ullman here. Now, he is a bit older, 23 years old, but I will just do my due diligence on him and check him out. Rob Carreur we will also look at, and he was one of those high schoolers that I was thinking could be generational here at MLB rank number 21. We did do some discovery, and we found Lee Coburn, who looks pretty good, 18 years old. Now, I'm not really considering getting some of these guys that we find unless they look generational in discovery with our 5th round pick, but hopefully he does fall to our 3rd round pick. But here is the guys we will focus on, and we will just continue to scout, positions as well. I just want to make sure to cast a wide net and not miss anybody. Omar Flores looks really good, 18 years old. He looks pretty polished as a high school player, but we will scout him a little further. Ross Bike, is that how you say his last name? Looks like a contact hitter, another 18-year-old. Another one down here on the board at, 50 rank. Maybe he drops. Jose Escobar. I just want to scout guys around our 3rd round pick just to make sure that, we don't miss out on anybody too. So I will do these 3 players to focus on them and end up seeing what they end up being as the weeks go on. So our top prospects in our organization, just shifting gears a little bit, Oliver Gonzalez is our number 3 ranked prospect. Now, he is hitting .316 at AA, but he does have a slight injury, so we can't highlight him right away. But I do want to highlight our number 8 prospect. He was drafted 4th round in season 1's draft, Clemente Mendoza Burks. Now, he is a guy that I do have future plans for, but we're talking 3 years down the road. He's not even close to being MLB ready, but when he gets to like age 24, age 25, I do expect him to probably be competing for a roster spot at the MLB level. He's interesting though. Like, he does have pop on his bat. Whenever we play with him, he hits the ball extremely well, but in sim, he hasn't been doing that well. As here he hits one deep to left field, 383 for a home run. And that's the type of power that I like to see as far as potential goes with a lot of our prospects. And if I haven't been able to draft a big power bat yet, but I do want to find that, whether that's via trade or, through the draft. I do want to find a prospect that has a lot of pop as far as home run potential. Another situation here, bottom of the 11th here, Aaron Ashby in to close this game out here, facing Mookie Betts here with 1 out. Here's a fly ball. Madlock is going to have a throw at the plate. This is going to be a close one. Madlock, it's right on target, but not in time, as Mookie Betts does come up with the sacrifice fly. And it is 4-3, and here is the new signing for the Dodgers this year, Pete Alonso, 0 for 4 in this one, and he swings at one low. This one gets back to the backstop. A close play at first base will result in the end of the game. And we do get the victory in this one, 4-3 on the road versus the Dodgers. A close one as both teams only get 5 hits. This was a true pitcher's duel. The one thing that is alarming is that anytime I hop into these games, we at least have like 1 or 2 errors, and we definitely have to clean that up. Madlock, though, another player of the game for him in this episode, 2 for 4, as he keeps compiling those hits up. So we do get to Rob Carreur here in scouting, getting back into this. Now, 95% scouting, he looks pretty good. I would say that he's probably going to end up being high 50s overall, probably a low B potential. So I'm not particularly high on him. But I'm going to continue to scout Omar Flores here because he looks really good. I think he has an extremely high floor, anywhere from 61 to 82. That I'm guessing when we get to 100% scouting, he's probably going to be like high 60s overall and probably a B to low A potential. I definitely like his skill set. The strong arm is definitely great, and I think that he could play any outfield position as well. So we're going to continue to scout him. We do end up getting a big victory here to start the month of May, 4-1 versus the Dodgers. And these are the victories, like I said, that good teams have on their schedule. Beating these really elite teams in close games, closing those out. You can see the averages have dipped down a little bit, which is not much of a concern right now, but I think that, it's just something to keep your eye on. But to end this episode and to look at the last real prospect that was from season 1 that is at the MLB level, it's Johnnie Hood, and he is off to an amazing start so far, and I do really like his numbers here. His ERA is a bit high at 4.99, but his whip, a 1.21. He's got 18 strikeouts to 5 walks. He's 1-4, but I'm going to focus on him today because he has 6 starts. 4 of those starts are quality starts, and the strikeout rate isn't great, but the walk rate is amazing. 3.9% walk rate is very, very good, so I want to see it live in action. So here he faces the White Sox. Here is Luis Robert. Will look at that pitch up in the zone, and that will be a backwards K to start this one. Here's Vargas at the plate now, hitting .215 on the year. A 1-2 pitch will be low in the dirt, and he gets him to swing and miss as well. And 2 straight strikeouts to start this game. Let's see if we can make it 3 versus Andrew Benintendi, hitting over 300. The only player in this lineup hitting over 300 in an inside cutter will be a swinging strike 3, and Johnnie Hood strikes out the side. Hood is technically our number 6 prospect in the organization right now. See potential, but I just really like him right now at that bottom half of the rotation. You can just see here, he does have some strikeout potential, especially with that low walk rate. It's definitely a weapon, but he is more of a pitch-to-contact type of pitcher. Facing Jokinski Noel to the plate, and that one will be a swinging strike 3 as well. 4 straight to start out this home game here, as that slider is going to be one of the more lethal pitches in his repertoire. He has the cutter, and the slider really does play off well with that cut fastball. Here's Kyle Teal, the first White Sox to put the ball in play. Easy play for Weston Wilson playing third today. That brings up Tyler Gentry to the plate as well. 30 pitches on the game so far. Another ground ball to third, and 6 up, 6 down for this White Sox lineup. And Johnnie Hood doing a good job of keeping these hitters in check. On to the bottom of the second here. Ahmed Rosario, who I highlighted was hitting close to 300 this year. He has been red hot at the plate. Bases loaded. Hits this one down the left field line. That one will get to the wall. It bounces off of the warning track. And Benintendi, playing in left field, does not get a good play off of the wall. And all 3 runs come around to score. That's Ahmed Rosario's 14th double already this year. Back to the mound now. Johnnie Hood in the third. He is cruising in this one. Chopper to first, and Ben Rice will step on the bag. And we get through 3, and Johnnie Hood has yet to surrender a hit. Top 4 now with 1 out. This one will be hit past the shortstop, Keeber Rodriguez, and will be, actually that's Peraza playing short today, and that one will be a single. And the first hit surrendered by Johnnie Hood. That brings up Andrew Benintendi to the plate, though. Another swing and miss for this White Sox lineup. And that's the 6th strikeout of the game for Johnnie Hood. Here's Noel back to the plate. He swung and missed earlier, and he does it again. Another strikeout for Johnnie Hood. That's 7. As we move on to the top of the 6th, only 75 pitches. As this one's hit well to left field. Back to the warning track, and Terrence Madlock makes the play. We seen him flash his bat earlier in the episode. This time it's with his glove. Extension by Madlock, helping out his fellow rookie. And these two are going to be staples in the rotation and in the field for years to come. Vargas to the plate now. In the 6th inning, he swings and misses. And Johnnie Hood has just been impressive today. Only 2 hits surrendered. As we move on to the bottom of the 6th inning. This is Luis Lara, who has been hitting .248 as the full-time right fielder. He gets one up in the zone. This one's crushed to left center. This will be extra bases for sure. Will it score all three, though? Lara's into second, and the third runner will come across the plate as Madlock scores from first. 7-0 here for the Salt Lake City Swarm, as Johnnie Hood is getting the run support in this one to get the win, but he's still going in the seventh. 109 on the pitch counter, and we get out of this seventh inning. That will be the end of Johnnie Hood's day, but what a fantastic showing here for the offense and the pitching, as we do get a shutout here at home. This victory feels good to end the episode, as Johnnie Hood gets his second win on the season, but his most impressive outing of the year. He already had a shutout earlier in this season. 7 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts with 0 walks. I mean, you cannot get much better than that. Only 3 hits surrendered, and those are the only 3 hits that the White Sox get in the entire game, as the Swarm look really good at this moment of the season. We are 14-21. We are actually in third right now in the division. The Padres are 15-21. So we are only 1 game back from the Padres, which is crazy, for second place. And also in the NL, Terrence Madlock is right now second in Rookie of the Year voting. Now, I expect Johnnie Hood to make this list at some point, or even Esteban Calzado. We really have 3 legit Rookie of the Year candidates. And looking around at the other 2 candidates here on this list, Hunter Fiducia is an older rookie, but he's hitting .293, so he's actually hitting pretty good. And then Miguel Cosmo from the Padres. So I think we really have, 3, maybe even 4 legitimate Rookie of the Year candidates on this roster. And I think that this could be our first award-winning year for any of our offensive players in this series. So next episode, we will get through the month of May. We will get close to the draft and see what we got as far as scouting goes as well. I think we'll take a closer look at scouting and really figure out what we're looking at the pick number 5 and see what the rest of these rookies can do this year. I think this is going to be a surprising year for the MLB for Salt Lake. I think we are much more competitive than a lot of people initially thought. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.